And I'm super excited to be with you once again for another business basics tutorial for creatives. I do want to apologize for being slightly late. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties with regards to audio. Audio is always the Achilles heel when you're trying to do these live streams. Video is pretty simple, but audio sometimes gets me every time. That being said, if you are new to the stream, if you're wondering what we're doing, I've been doing for the last 3 days. I've been doing a business basics for creatives, specifically for creatives. That's creative professionals, creative entrepreneurs, everything that you need to know from registering your business, why it's important, to charging HST, to the differences of being a sole proprietorship to a partnership to a incorporation. And today we're going to be talking about invoicing contracts and apps. That's invoicing contracts and apps. But before we get started, like always, I'm going to jump onto the Instagram and the Facebook and grab some people and remind some people about what the heck is going on right now, because I want people to learn. I want you to learn. I want us to grow together. So let's do it. Let's jump on here. Going on Instagram Live right now. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tristan Barracks here, the digital storyteller. And I wanted to remind you that I am starting my live. I am starting the third day of my business basics for creatives tutorials. So that's starting right now. We're going to be talking specifically about invoices, contracts, and apps. So again, if you are interested in learning about invoices, contracts, and apps, please jump over to youtube.com/Tristan Barracks. That's youtube.com/Tristan Barracks, and we will begin in about 30 seconds. I'm just inviting you to come over if you are a creative professional and you know how to be creative, but you're still learning the business side of things, the professional side of things. Please hit me up, jump over to youtube.com/Tristan Barracks, where we will be talking about business basics for creatives, all types of creatives. If you're a creative event professional, if you're a creative storyteller, if you are a photographer, cinematographer, creative writer, baker, architect, whatever it is, jump over. We're doing business basics for creatives. Talk to you guys later. Peace. All right. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm gonna do this also for Facebook really quickly, so bear with me. If you need to grab a drink, grab a drink. We're going to start in about 1 minute, but I want to get things rolling, get the ball rolling here. But if you have questions, I will be able to answer some of your questions as well. So please feel free to hold on to your questions until the end of the session. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tristan Barracks here, the digital storyteller, and I am starting my live stream right now. We're going to be talking about invoices, contracts, and apps. Invoices, contracts, and apps. What you should know, the do's, the don'ts, and the apps and the app platforms that you can use to help run your business. This is a continuation of the series called Business Basics for Creatives. If you are a creative entrepreneur, please don't just be creative. Also remember to be an entrepreneur as well. It's very important, very, very important to understand the business as well as the creative. So if you want to know more about that, you want to see the slides, you want to see everything that we're talking about, jump on to youtube.com/Tristan Barracks. That's youtube.com/Tristan Barracks. Peace and blessings. All right. So we are starting again on business basics. We are talking about invoices, contracts, and apps. So I'm going to jump right into our presentation screen here. It's not the presentation screen. It should be right here. There you go. And boom, boom, boom. We're looking at invoices, contracts, and apps. Do you know the differences between invoices, contracts, and applications? Just put a thumbs up or type in yes, I know what the difference is. No, I don't know what the difference is. I kind of know, whatever else. Just let me know, and then we can continue on. But the big thing is, or the big reason why I'm so excited about this particular topic is that a lot of people ask me the question, like, what do I put on my invoice? Why do I need an invoice? How much do I charge people? What do I put into my contracts? Do I need a contract for every single thing I do? Should I call it an agreement? Should I call it a just a document. What should I do when somebody doesn't want to sign an agreement? All of these sort of things we'll try and touch on as best as possible. I really want to focus in on, first and foremost, the importance of invoicing, the importance of presenting an agreement or a contract to a client, and some of the websites or some of the resources that you can use to be able to do that a lot easier and a lot more efficiently, instead of constantly creating brand new templates or brand new agreements and contracts and invoices every time you're interacting with a client. So without any further ado, I will jump right into this. Let's go into the next slide here. So we're going to do a quick overview. We're going to talk about why we need invoices. We are also going to talk about how to create invoices, right? Because it's important. If we're trying to figure out why we need invoices, we should also figure out how we can actually use invoices, how we can create them, right? Hey, how are you doing? Thank you so much for the thumbs up there. Just give me a second here. I'm going to bring in the stream for a minute so people can get a little bit of knowledge. There we go. So that's number two. The other thing that we're going to be doing is what needs to be included in an invoice, right? So it's really important when you are creating an invoice, you know exactly what you have to add into the invoice, right? To make it effective, to make it clear, to make it something that's consumable for your client, right? The next part is we're going to be talking about why we need contracts, right? Why do we need contracts? Are contracts that important? Can we run our whole businesses without any contracts? No, but some people think that you can. So it's really important to think about that and to discuss that. We're going to talk about how to create a contract. What are the components to making a great contract? Just like you would think about the ingredients to bake a great cake, right? We need flour, sugar, butter, eggs, etc., etc., etc. There are components that you need to include that will make your contract stronger, better for both you and the client. Did you know you can make a contract or an agreement that's actually good for both parties? It's not just something that's just, protecting you, but it's also protecting the client, right? And a lot of times, we'll get into exactly what that means, but a lot of times protecting the client just means that you're giving them clarity. So we'll talk about what that looks like. We are also going to talk about what are the things that we need to include, what are the things that we don't need to include in a contract. And then lastly, we're going to look at apps and CMSs, so client management systems. We're going to look at all of those different types of components in terms of invoicing, contracts, and apps. And then lastly, we're going to do Q&A. So let's jump into it right now. For those of you that are joining me on Instagram, you can jump on to the full presentation, which is on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Tristan Barracks. If you want to learn about invoicing, contracts, and the apps that I use, you can jump on there and you can see the full slide presentation. All right. Peace out. All right. So why do you need invoices? Why do we need invoices? What are the importance of invoices? First of all, it gets you paid on time. Duh. I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people overlook this. They may think, you know what, that's not really that important. People should know when to pay. When I'm done the project, I should get paid. But think about this. If you're doing a project that takes a year to produce, to plan, to shoot, to craft, and then to get paid for, how are you paying your bills for the next 12 months? What does that look like? Yes, you may have other clients, but if all the other clients are in October, November, December, and you're in March, April, May, you still need to get paid somehow, right? So an invoice allows the client, both you and the client, to know exactly when payments are due. It reduces billing questions. This is a great one. Again, a lot of times you have people saying, "Oh, how much do I have to pay? Does this include taxes? Is this in U.S. Funds or is this in Canadian dollars? How do I know this?" And clients aren't naturally dumb. They're very smart people, but sometimes when it comes to things that are outside of their scope, like your business, they're not as smart, right? You have to teach them or be very clear and intentional about about how you run your business and how this transaction needs to flow, right? And they may not be used to it, or they may be used to it. But if they're not used to it, then it's really important to have clear, concise ways and instructions of how you receive payment, how you take payment, when payment is due, et cetera, et cetera. It eliminates tracking. It eliminates tracking problems. So this is a great example. Whenever you're in a business like weddings, or you're in a business where maybe you get a lump sum at first, and then you get a whole bunch of spread out payments throughout the course of the project. It actually eliminates you having, or the client having, to figure out how much they owe you, right? Because if it clearly states that they paid on May 1st $1,000 out of the $3,000 they owe you, now they only owe you $2,000, and the invoice will reflect that. If you have to constantly be telling them that, or if you don't have an invoice, you have to constantly be reminding them of that, and they may even pay you more or pay you less. You may lose track of it, right? Because you're not just dealing with one client, you're dealing with multiple clients. So it's really important. It eliminates any sort of tracking issues, and a lot of times what happens, even in my case, I'm going through my bookkeeping, right? Because I do bookkeeping every 30 days, right? Which is a good practice. If you can, as a creative professional, do your bookkeeping at least every 30 days. It just allows you to kind of get a good handle on your financials, on your tax situation, et cetera, et cetera. But when I do that, sometimes I'm going through 10, 15, 20, 30 different invoices, right? And you can, if you're not keeping track of that, you can lose track of what clients made what payments to what project, right? You may have a client that has multiple projects with you that you are now having to manage, right? And you now have to make sure that you're organized enough to be able to manage that, and invoices will allow you to do that. All right. Stop problems from repeating. So if, for instance, I was in a situation, a few years back, where I had a client. They're a great client, and they were making payments on the scheduled dates, but for some reason they were short by a few dollars, like $1 to $2 to $5, right, each time. So as I invoiced them, I showed them the balance that was actually not actually added or included within the last payment. So whatever was left over, if it was $1.50, then the next invoice, it showed that there was a balance of $1.50 from the last payment, so on and so forth. And that helped the client to identify that, oh my gosh, I actually set up my payments as automatic transfers. I'll make that adjustment in the next invoice. So it's really simple to do that. Let me move this around here. And then also for tax purposes, right? It allows the client to know how much taxes you're charging, and it also allows you to know what taxes you're receiving, right? How much HST, we spoke about that on Monday, how much HST you're receiving for the government, and how much HST you have to give to the government, back to government. So again, it just allows you to track the taxes. It allows the client to know how much they were taxed, and then they can use it however they need to use it. All right, let's go to next. All right, what you need to include in your invoices. The first thing is you need to, hold on for 1 second here. I think I made a little boo-boo here. There we go. What's included, or what should be included in your invoices? So your branding, obviously, if whatever your business name is. So if you're Tristan Barracks Inc. or whatever else, you should have your branding on your invoice. This is a great way for a client to know what they were charged for and who was charging them, right? Some of your clients may be giant corporations. They may have tons and tons and tons of vendors that they work with on a regular basis. This just helps them to kind of organize their paperwork, and also allows you to brand yourself with this other client that may be a continuous client, or you know what I mean? So it's just really important to do that. We see this normally on any of our receipts. If you pick up a receipt, at Shoppers Drug Mart, it's going to say Shoppers Drug Mart on the top. It's going to say Home Depot. It's going to say McDonald's. That's a standard practice. The next thing is it's going to have the legal information on it. So the legal information is really like the return policy. What are the major aspects of how people can return and what they can get, what they can expect back if they want to return a product or a service. What are the means and the process and the steps for being able to deal with disputes or dealing with any sort of broken or disrupted product. So all of those things should be in the invoice, as well as the method by which you're receiving payment in terms of like the currency. Let me just check back here for a minute and see how you guys are doing. How are you guys doing out there? Are you guys doing okay? I want to make sure that you guys are doing wonderful out there and you're getting something, because it's really important to me. Make sure that everybody's here. Perfect. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you're getting something, as well as please share this feed on your feed as well, or share this live stream on your feed, because it's really important for as much creatives to get some information like this as possible. I think there's a lot of young creatives that are amazing, but sometimes it's challenging to kind of get into the nitty gritty of the business side of things, because the business side of things is not always it's not always the most exciting, but it's very important and it gets you paid. So let me just jump back here to our presentation. So we talked about branding, we talked about legal information, pricing, obviously, right? What's the price of the items or the service that you're charging? If you're telling me that you have to pay me, I need to know what I'm paying you, right? How many hours if it's 4 hours of work, how much do those hours cost, right? If it's a product or a service, it's a DVD, it's you filming my wedding or filming a brand film for me or creating amazing painting for me, or graphic design or a logo. How much does that cost, right? And then once I know what that costs, then I can go ahead and I can actually see that and pay that accordingly. Shows us our taxes, right? So again, harmonized sales tax. If you're in Ontario, in other jurisdictions in Canada, there's different types of taxes. And also too, you should, if you're in Canada, you should also have an area for any sort of discounted rate for First Nations people as well. So that's something to keep in mind as you're going. Product description. This is really, really something that I started to appreciate a lot more. What is a product description? A product description is you describing the service that you're delivering and the quantity of that service. So I am going to film your live event concert for 4 hours, and I'm bringing a tripod, a camera, a mic, and I'm going to have some lighting as well. And that's what you're getting. That item is called my video item, my live concert video recording session package. Okay. And the thing that's important about describing it and being descriptive is you don't necessarily have to go into the nitty gritty, but at least give the client enough information that they can grasp a general or basic understanding of what it is that item is, right? If it's editing and you're charging people for editing hours, describe what that editing is. It is the action of organizing, cutting, trimming, and producing a finished video, right? That's what your editing services are. That's how you describe it. And then maybe, if it's a royalty-free song, it is the access of using a royalty-free song without paying additional royalty fees in perpetuity, right? Whatever that descriptor is. If it's a DVD, it's a DVD video that's in packaging, that's branded for your business. Whatever that is, you want to make sure that you are very intentional about being descriptive about that. And then payment information. How do I pay you? Do you want check? Do you want credit card? Do you want it cash? Do you want it through PayPal? What are the means that I can pay you, that I can get the money to you? Is it Cash App? Is it, e-transfer? Whatever the ways that you receive payment, I need to know how to receive payment. Okay? All right, let me go back here. I believe I missed My one right here. Okay, perfect. So this is actually the contracts now. We're going to jump into contracts. So first things first, what is a contract? A contract is very simple, just an agreement of services and of expectations. That's the way I kind of look at it, right? So if somebody comes to you and they say to you, hey, I need to know, I need to provide a contract to a client. What do I need to put into it, or why do I need why do we need an agreement? We're agreeing right now. We're talking right now. That should be enough. Yes, a verbal agreement is good to a certain point, but you want to be very intentional, right? Everything can be nice and beautiful at the very beginning of dealing with a client, but as the project progresses, things can sour or things can go, turn in a different way. People can change colors. People can, maybe want to disappear, and you have to have a way of keeping both yourself, and the client accountable. I don't look at a contract as just protecting myself. I also look at it as protecting the client, right? Because now I'm holding myself accountable to delivering a product, just like I'm holding them accountable to deliver my payment, right? So it's really not about just the vendor that's providing services just being able to protect themselves. Yes, of course you want to protect yourself, but you also want to hold yourself accountable based upon the expectations that the clients that you promise the client, right? So you promise certain things, the client has certain expectations in return, and that just holds you accountable to that. So first things first, why contracts? A contract helps to get you paid. Again, it's a psychological thing. If people know that they're legally bound to a contract or an agreement, chances are they're going to pay you. There's very few people, knock on wood, that have never paid me in the past 20 years when we used an agreement. Okay. And even when you don't use an agreement, if you have a verbal contract and things of that nature, most of the times people will pay. But generally speaking, you're way more successful and way more protected when you have things written down on paper, because then people feel like they have the obligation to follow through on that. So it's really important about that. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, what's up to everybody that's on Instagram? If you are watching this on Instagram, just let you know that I'm actually on YouTube right now. I'm on my YouTube live stream right now, and I'm telling people the importance of invoicing or invoices, contracts, and apps. So if you want to get the full presentation right now that you're seeing me talk about, then just jump over to tristanbarracks.com or youtube.com/tristanbarracks. That's youtube.com/tristanbarracks for more information in terms of the creative, the business basics for creatives. That's going to go through, we're going to go through all invoicing questions, as well as all contracts questions, as well as the apps that I'm using to run my business. So check it out now. Talk to you guys later. Peace. So guys, like I was saying before, contracts get you paid. Contracts also help you to minimize disputes and problems. So this is really important. Again, a lot of times what happens is if you don't have anything written down on paper, then everything's left sort of in an ambiguous state, right? And the worst thing that you could do for your business is, not have that protection mechanism, because somebody could just lie and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, no, we didn't agree that this video was going to be $400. This video is you actually said it was only going to be 200, Tristan. Then you're like, no, we said it was going to be 400. We spoke about that. No, you actually said it's 200. No, I really know that you only said it was $200. I'm not paying you more than $200. So this minimizes those disputes, because once somebody writes down, hey, this is what I'm paying you, I'm agreeing to this, now they're bound to that agreement, right? So that's really important as well. It also allows contracts also protect you, protect your intellectual property. What does that mean? Your intellectual property is anything that you create. So as a creative, this is really important, because we're not actually making physical mechanisms, right? We don't build cars as creatives. We don't bake cakes as creatives necessarily. We don't make toys. We don't, design DVDs or engineer or architect homes. We actually provide services. So we create logos, or we create a video, or we create, social media strategies. All of that comes from here, our brains. That's what we call intellectual property. Intellectual property is your your number one greatest currency, okay, as a creative. I like to say it like this. The most important currency, and the currency coincidentally that's going to really allow people to propel and succeed after all of this COVID-19 mess kind of goes over, is the currency of thought and the currency of perspective. Your perspective will be the number one way that you either increase your revenue and increase your value, or you decrease your value. If you don't work on how to leverage your perspective and your unique perspective, and use that and turn that into a means to create a new income stream for you, or a new revenue stream for you, then you're going to be losing out tremendously, because the currency of thought is the next level. So this is really important. If you go to somebody, you have an idea, you go to a business and you're like, you know what, we're gonna go with this creative strategy, and this is what you should do for your business, and X, Y, and Z, and then they don't hire you and they go with somebody cheaper, and then they use your whole strategy, your whole execution, because you didn't get them to sign an agreement before you started to negotiate, or before you even started to really develop any ideas for their business. You just gave them your intellectual property, and you lost out on the opportunity to gain value from your intellectual property and your ideas. So it's really important, before you get into deep conversations and strategic ideas and placement and management. A lot of clients will get you into that, right? A lot of clients will want to be like, well, what do you think about this, Tristan? Or what do you think about that? Or how would you do this? And you don't want to be rude, but you want to be respectful of that person and their question, but also respectful of your time and the value and the time that you took to actually build your knowledge up and your skills in this area. So the only way that you can protect it is by saying, hey, listen, if we're going to talk strategically about your business and some things that you could do, I would feel comfortable with you just signing this quick sort of disclosure form, or this sort of protection agreement in terms of any sort of ideas that we're speaking about. You have to honor that you're not going to go forward and use it without using me, right? Certain things like that. It seems unreasonable, or it seems unrealistic, but you'd be surprised at how many clients understand where you're coming from, especially if you're dealing with small to medium sized business owners, because they have ideas as well that need to be protected, and they don't want you to run off with an idea as well. So it's a way to protect both parties. A contract limits liability. This is a great one too. There are a lot of contracts that say, hey, listen, especially in the event industry, if there's an act of God, if COVID-19 goes on for 2 more years, I cannot be responsible for the lack of delivery of that chocolate bar I decided to deliver to you. If the government says I cannot deliver this chocolate because it violates a specific protocol right now, because we're in COVID-19, the COVID-19 era, then I cannot do that. I cannot fulfill my responsibility that I said I was going to fulfill. If that person gets upset, it's a level of, oh, you made it. Hi, how you doing? You made it. So it's a level of accountability, but it also protects you as well, right? So it's really, really important to understand that contracts are not just there, to say, okay, I get paid on time and, I can take that person to court. It's also to set the proper level of expectations, right? You got to make sure that you have those limited liabilities in there as well. All right. Contracts create certainty. I love this point. I am certain that I will deliver at X time, or within X timeline, because now I'm committing to that. And I am certain that, pretty certain that you're going to pay, because we have you have you signing an agreement that I have signed, you have signed, and now we're agreeing to be legally bound to this agreement. So again, it brings certainty, it brings clarity, it brings a level of commitment. A contract helps to build trust and gives peace of mind to the client. It also allows you to manage expectations. Again, if it wasn't written down, then it cannot be an expectation, right? If I said I'm going to deliver a DVD, you can't expect me to deliver a USB, right? Or if I said I'm going to send you a digital download gallery or downloadable gallery, you can't expect a hard drive. right? So it sets expectations well. Okay, let's look at what's included in a contract. Let me jump to the next one here. What's included or what needs to be included into a contract? Uh, in general, duties of each party. So the duty of the client is to pay on time, and the duty of me is to deliver the photography services or the cinematography services or the graphic design services or the social media strategy services. um, Rights of each party. So I have a right to request for payment at X amount of date. I have a right to request for feedback in a reasonable amount of time so that I can end the project. And the client has the right to ask about the status of the project, to ask for a refund if a refund is warranted, etc., etc. Relevant dates. So, when do we start shooting? When do we stop shooting? When do we start editing? When do we stop editing? When do we deliver the project? Relevant prices and other dollar amounts. So, the billable hours, the pricing for products and services that you're making available to them. Relevant quantities. So, I'm providing you with 20 hours of service editing hours, right? And anything beyond that, you're going to have to pay for more, right? Yes, you're right. You're right. I love that description. I'm just throwing that right in there. The act of God. It's really important to understand that when you are putting in certain areas or certain parts of your contract should have an act of God stipulation. What's an act of God? Well, if there's a flood, if there's COVID-19, if there's a tornado, if there's a hurricane, I can't necessarily provide services in a timely fashion, right? Because it's all based upon reasonable circumstances. If I get into a car accident on the way to your wedding, and it wasn't my fault, somebody rear-ended me, it's not reasonable to expect me to be there on time. Now, again, I should have a contingency plan, but that being said, again, you can't expect me to be there right on time, especially if it's a serious emergency or act of God. My house flooded and all my equipment is ruined. That's an act of God. I didn't do it. I didn't send the rain, right? So that's a great point. I love that point. Thank you so much for making that point. Payment terms, right? From this time to this time is when I'm expecting payment, and this is the frequency of payments. Whether you're dealing with a lump sum payment, whether you're dealing with cash on demand, COD, or you're dealing with payment structures or installments, right? That should all be included in the contract as well. The payment due dates, we spoke about that. We also spoke about taxes, right? What are the relevant taxes? And then the interest, right? So for some contracts, if you are late on payments, then there's a late payment fee, or there's interest that's incurred, and all that sort of stuff to curb the behavior of late payments and late fees, like we said before. Okay, so how do you create invoices, or what's kind of included into an invoice or a contract when you are creating it, right? And the reason why I brought this up is because it's not good enough to know what's included in a contract or in an invoice, but it's really important for us to understand how to create it. What are the mechanisms that you can use to create a legal binding contract or agreement. So let's look at some of those things. First thing is verbally. Now, I would not suggest that you create a verbal contract, because a verbal contract is very hard to prove, right? Unless you have one or more parties there, right, are really more than you and the client, the client, and another person, then you're going to have a tough time really enforcing a verbal contract. So I don't really suggest verbal contracts, but that's one way of creating a contract or an invoice. Written, right? Obviously, you can take a pen, piece of paper, or a pencil. You can write your contract out. You can write your invoice out. You can present it to the client, and that's legally binding. You can record it, right? You can record yourself saying this is how much the money is, and this is how much you owe me, and that's legally binding. You can record what you are going to deliver and what you're expecting that client to deliver, and that can be a way of being able to be legally binding as well. It really just depends. I wouldn't suggest that you do that, but again, it's important for you to think about the different ways that your business works. Um, what's the next thing here? Let me see here. Um, da, 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 da. You can create your invoice or your contracts through Photoshop, right? Through graphics programs. Again, it's just a document. It's a document that can be printed off. It's a document that can be photocopied. You can design it in Illustrator and Photoshop and in Adobe, you know, uh, InDesign or PDF reader, and it'll allow you to do that. Hey, how you guys doing on Instagram? We're actually doing a live stream on youtube.com/Tristan Barracks. YouTube.com/Tristan Barracks. We're talking about a whole boatload of interesting things in terms of invoicing and contracts and apps that I use. So if you want to get that information and see the whole slideshow presentation, jump onto youtube.com/Tristan Barracks. All right. So you can do Photoshop, graphics programs, you can use Pages, Word, etc. You can use a notepad if you want to. If you really are in a pinch and you don't have any sort of creativity in you, you can use any sort of program that will allow you to create a document and print it out. You can use that to create invoices or a contract. You can also use websites. You can use things like 17 Hats. You can use things like Dubsado. There are a lot of different websites that you can use that will provide you with a ton of valuable information and valuable tools that allow you to create contracts, invoices, all that sort of stuff. So what are the apps? What are the apps that I use? What are the apps that are available for you to run your business and to create invoices and to create contracts? So first things first, there's FreshBooks. FreshBooks is something that a lot of people use. It's an invoicing program. It will not give you all the robustness that you may want as a entrepreneur or creative entrepreneur, because it's not going to give you things like contract information. It's not going to give you things like if you want to add in and itemize all of the different products and services you have, if you want to have a scheduler in there, all that sort of stuff. It's just dealing with the financial aspect of your business. So that's something to keep in mind. FreshBook or QuickBooks, which is just like FreshBooks, it's basically the competitor of it. These are really great accounting and invoicing softwares. They are not designed for you to necessarily run every single aspect of your business on it. So just be mindful of that. Yes, youtube.com/Tristan Barracks. That's youtube.com/Tristan Barracks. Thank you so much. All right. So the next thing that you can use is you can use Asana. Asana is a program that is what we call a client management software. So it allows you to manage different aspects of your business. Basecamp is a business software as well, but it's more project based. So like if you have team members, you can assign tasks, you can do things to that nature. So that's really good. Wave accounting software is super dope. This is actually a free accounting software. I should tell you that FreshBooks, QuickBooks are paid. Asana is paid, I believe, as well, and Basecamp is a paid software. They vary from $10 a month all the way up to 50, 60, 70, $100 a month, depending on the frequency and the vastness of options that you need for your business. So that's something to keep in mind. Wave accounting software is completely free. They're actually a software company that is located in Toronto. They started maybe, I would say, almost 7 to 10 years ago. Super dope, great invoicing, web-based invoicing software and service. The only thing is, again, it's just about the financial part of things. So if you just need something for invoicing, then that's cool. It's really great for that. It's completely free. There's no transaction fees unless you're using their own sort of billing and payment system. Then you have to pay a certain transaction fee. But they have a lot of great services. They have bookkeeping services. They have accounting services, like where you can actually get linked up with a professional accountant or a professional bookkeeper. If you're not a person that wants to do bookkeeping, it does HST. It does all taxes. It has disclaimers built into the invoices. You can make quick quotes. You can do tons of different things. So it's a really great software. You should check it out. 17 Hats. 17 Hats is, I mean, a staple in the industry. It allows you to actually manage all areas of your business. It's like, it's wicked. It's amazing. Wicked. I mean, what am I? Is this 1995? But you know what I mean. It's dope. It's a really, really great software. You should check it out. I believe they have a trial period on it. It's called 17 Hats. And with this one, you would pay either per month, which is like $50 a month or something like that, or you can pay per year, which is probably $500 a year. But if you're running your business and running all of the elements of your business through this one channel, then it may be worth it for you, right? So you need to check that out. And Dub Sato, Dub Sato is my favorite because it's the app that I use, right? Dubsado is the app that I use. And the reason why I use Dubsado is because I got introduced, to Dubsado about 4 years ago, and it just worked really well. And at the time I was using Wave accounting software, and that was really working really well. But then I was using Pages to manage all of my, to create all of my contracts and agreements. And then sometimes I couldn't keep track of my agreements. And then I would use another website for scheduling. And then I use another website for other things in my business. And I just needed one central place to run my business and run it well. And I found this software, and at first it was I think it was like $120 for the year. Then the next year they upped it, they brought it up to about $350 a year, and it's been there for the last couple of years at $350 a year, or I believe it might be $40 a month, but it is a really great software. It allows you to do invoicing. It allows you to do contracts. It allows you to do scheduling. It allows you to do forecasting, allows you to receive payments. It allows you to communicate through email to your clients. It allows you to do graphics and proposals and quotes. It gives you a litany of features. And I'm going to talk about some of them here. It's, first of all, I like the fact that it's affordable. It's very, I would say for $350 to have a software for a year to run your business is phenomenal. It's a very, very affordable price. It's easy to use. Once you get into the ecosystem, it's not really hard to use the actual software. It's an all-in-one solution. I don't have to go to several different websites. I don't have to have several different accounts. I can have one account, go to one website, and run my whole business out of there. And it's web-based, which means I can use it on my phone. I can use it on my computer. I can use it on my desktop. I can use it on somebody else's phone. I can log in using pretty much any mobile device and any sort of desktop device in order to get access to all of my content. And now let's jump into an overview. I want to actually jump into an overview right now, just so that you guys can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. So I'm actually going to go into full screen mode here. How's everybody doing? Let me check in with everybody. How's everybody doing? Are you guys getting anything out of this? I really want to make sure that you guys are getting something out of it. If you are, give me a thumbs up. Just say yes in the comments. Let me know if there's any sort of questions that you have, because we are going to be answering questions once I go through just some of the quick elements of Dubsado. But I really want to make sure that you guys are getting something out of this. If you're not, it's okay. I promise I'll give you more information if you need more information. But I think that that it's important for me to kind of let you see how Dubsado works. Hey guys, I'm still on my kids are right over there jumping and climbing. Okay, so Dubsado. Well, let me jump into Dubsado here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So I need to move around some of these windows so I can actually show you guys exactly what I'm doing. So in Dubsado, there's a few different things that are happening here, right? Can you guys see my cursor, by the way? Let me know if you can see my cursor. I want to know if you can see my cursor. If you can't see my cursor, then that's okay. I will see if I can make the cursor viewable. Can you see my cursor? Yes, no, medium, slow, let me know. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep on going just in case people have to jump out, and I want to be respectful of the 5 to 6 timeline. So when we're in Dubsado, it shows us a few different things. We have a few different windows, but I'm going to start out with the Dubsado menu bar. So we have the dashboard, we have the projects area. The dashboard is actually the window that we're seeing here. It's made up of the financials, so the income that we've brought in to our business, as well as the expenses that we spent within the last 30 days. It shows us our calendar overview. Right now, my calendar is empty because I'm showing you on like a on something that oh, perfect. You can see it. Perfect. I'm showing you on an empty brand that I created under my Dubsado account. It shows me the revenue that I made in the last 30 days, or that's expected in the next 30 days. I also can see the open invoices. What open invoices are basically invoices that have not been finished or haven't been completed. Whether I haven't added the final payment or the client hasn't actually finally paid me. Um, I can actually put in my financial goals. So I can click in here and I can type in my financial goal is $1,000 a month, right? Maybe I need $1,000 a month, or maybe I want $10,000 a month. And then this yellow marker here, indicator here, will actually tell me based upon my numbers how I'm doing in terms of reaching my goal, which is phenomenal. What else is here? Down in the corner here, we have our tasks. So you can actually make tasks for yourself or for your team members. So if you need to remind your team members, hey, email this client, follow up with this project, do research on this element of the business. You can do that there. So that's what the desktop area is for. Then if we go to projects, projects actually will show us a list of all the projects that we have. Right now, I don't have any projects, but if I was to create one, I would go over to new project, right? And then I would label. Yes, I would label the title of whatever that project is. So I'm just gonna put in, I don't know, I don't know what I'm gonna put in. I'm just gonna put in test. Okay. Um, I don't have a client. I can type in what the client's name. I can say, Joe Blow. Okay. And I can create a new client. I can put in their first name, last name, email address, company name, all that sort of stuff. And then that then now will populate the project client area. And then from there, what it allow me to do is it allow me to track the status of the project. So under reporting, we have things like the project sources. So it shows you things like where your projects are coming from. If you're getting most of your revenue from filming, from photography, from whatever categories that you've created, creative writing, strategic planning, social media. It'll show you the breakdown, so then you can actually be more strategic about the elements or the parts of the business that are actually making you revenue, and you can invest more into that, right? We have invoices here, so this shows us our open invoices, transactions. So if people are paying you via PayPal or via the Cash App or what's the other one? What's another payment strategy? Um, I'm forgetting, but there's tons of other payment strategies that work within this system. And then after that, oh, you have charts and accounts. So you have like when you make a project and you receive a payment, you can actually identify within that payment or within that project what your expenses are. So that's like, travel expenses. That's, um, contractor expenses. So if you have to pay somebody to do work for you for the project because you can't do it, that's expenses in terms of memberships and other services and other products you have to purchase in order to do this job. So it just allows you to do that. So you actually can see your net income because you may be making 100K. But in reality, you're actually only taking home 60K or 50K, depending on your spending habits and what the actual cost is of business, right? You're reporting, so this is like your yearly earnings and things of that nature. Then we have the calendar. So if we click on the calendar, we have the month view, we have the week view, we have the day view. Okay, and that allows us to do a lot of things in there. We can create events. We can actually sync our calendar to our iPhones and Android devices. We can do a lot of different things within this specific space. So that's really really cool. Our tasks is another area. So then again, I can make a task. I can see my task. I can see all the tasks. I can add a task now. I can say, whatever, call Sally, right? That's my task, and then due date for that is tomorrow, and I can connect it to a project and assign it to a specific team member as well. Okay. All right, utilities. This is a good one here. So utilities are like forms. Um, Form list is basically a list of all of the in Dubsado. You can create a form that's frontward facing, or a form that's private that you send out to your clients, and that allows them to fill out information like their first name, last name. Maybe you want to get additional information because you're doing a documentary or you're doing some other sort of creative work, and you want to make sure that you have all the information necessary. This allows you to see the list of all the forms that you sent out. This is the address book of all your clients. And then they also have a time tracker in here. The time tracker is dope because you can start and stop when you're doing a project. So if somebody hires you for a 20-minute video and you're charging them for 30 hours, you can start the time tracker, you can stop it. Every phone conversation, every in-personal meeting, every time you're editing, shooting, directing, doing whatever else for the project, you start and stop, and then it records and keeps you accountable, and allows you to know like how much did you actually invest in this project. And if you're investing 50 hours, then you should probably charge 50 hours next time. Or if it's only taking you 20 hours, you really don't need the 30 hours, so you can actually charge less, right? So that's a great option there. The scheduler. So under templates is one of my favorite areas of Dubsado. The scheduler allows you to schedule in appointments, meetings. You can actually have a frontward-facing calendar. You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay for a separate account. There's like Calendarly and other payment, not payment options, but scheduling platforms that actually allow you to just make appointments and have appointments that clients can pick from based upon your schedule. Well, they built that into Dubsado. So instead of having a Calendarly account, which is, there's nothing wrong with having that, but instead of spending, let's say, $150 per year for just Calendarly, you spend an extra $200, right, for 350, and you get Calendarly pretty much the same features in this program plus so much more. So that's there. Forms. I love my forms. I'm sorry, I love forms because forms are contracts, right? Contracts are what we were talking about today. So these are some of the templated forms and just contracts that I have. So I'll open up one for you just so you can see what we're talking about here. Oh, where is it here? Settings. Let me go back to template. I'll press OK here. So I'm clicking on this contract. So this is how my contract looks for Felicity Moments. As you can see, I have a section basically identifying who the person is, right? Or not the person is, but who the people are, the parties are, what's expected, and then what the studio agrees to, the agreement, production and editorial control, display rights, copyright, studio liabilities, what else? Cancellation, postponement, all of those sort of things, right? Exclusivity fee, release, deliverables, warning and working conditions, meals, all that sort of stuff. So that's all there. So a great question. Oops. Let me just see here. Can you guys see that? Oh, sorry. Something just jumped out on my screen there. So that was a great question, Shirley. So she was just asking, did I create these templates or was this part of the system? That's a great question. So the templates were part of the system, and then I actually just customized the template. So there's actually a lot more templates that are available. They actually give you about, I would say about 5 to 7, even 10 templates, depending on which area you're looking at. And I was really blown away by that. But the thing that you have to realize about that is that you still got to tweak it. They are an American-based company. You got to tweak it to Canadian-based law. So that's something that's really important. You may want to let a lawyer look over the legalities of the details of your contract and your agreement. But it is like they give you a lot of templates. They give you a lot to work with. I mean, even now I can if I go to template library and click on template library, I can select, these are all the templates that I have to choose from. And they have, like, you can actually search for, if I type in wedding and hit wedding here, then these will show up. Filter, I can go put in baby, and it'll kind of, it should bring up just baby stuff. So I mean, it'll show you. Oh, okay. So if I want a contract, sorry. So it's not necessarily themed, but it's themed in the sense of the types of agreements that you need or documents that you need. So these are all the contracts that are available. If I go to proposals, these are the proposals that are available. If I want to go to subcontracts, these are the subcontracts that are available. Make sense? Let me know. Say yes. All right. Let me jump back into here where I wanna finish up in about 5 more minutes. Can I get 5 more minutes? Can I get five? Just say five if you want to give me 5 more minutes, or 10, because I do want to take some questions. But if I can get 5 more minutes, just say five. The other area that they have in Dubsado, which I really, really like, is they have canned emails. Canned emails are really important because, again, there are certain emails that you don't have to be creating every single time that you are communicating with a client, right? There are certain things that you can just create as a template, a canned template, templated email that you can just send to the client, right? And whether it's a welcome email. For me, I have a workflow, which I'll talk about, that allows me to just automatically send out an email once somebody sends in a request to get more information about booking me or booking my services or my clients. Okay. So thank you. I saw the five. Five. Sorry if I'm too loud. I have a loud voice. I'm sorry. My kids are hungry too. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'll be very quick. All right. Packages. So packages area is basically where you can create custom, pre-made, predetermined packages with itemized, predetermined itemized services. So I'll take, for example, my weddings, right? I have different packages for my wedding clients. Package A is photography. Package B is video. Package C is a 360 booth. I can predetermine the hours, the amount of team members, the amount of photos, video, all that sort of stuff that is in that package. Create it as a package, and then when I'm drafting up the client agreement and creating the project, I can attach that package to that client, and it automatically fills in and creates an invoice for me without me having to always make an invoice every single time. So that's really cool. So you create a package beforehand of packages that people are always going to use and or be interested in, and then you can just attach it to as the client requests it. Workflows are the best. Workflows are basically, think of workflows as automated ways of being able to service your clients. So somebody types in, I would like to book Tristan for a brand film. What happens after that? Well, normally you have to get an email. You get an email from the system. The email says, oh, so this is the form that somebody filled out. You have to respond to them. Well, what if you're busy? What if your kids are home all day, forever, without knowing when this is going to stop? Our current situation. It's fine. what I would say is workflows might be the best solution for you. I think they are the best solution. Workflows will allow a lot of automated things to happen without you having to do it all the time. So, for instance, somebody fills out the form for Felicity Moments, automatically it generates a project for them. It automatically takes their information, puts it into the project, and then it sends an email saying, "Hey, welcome! Thank you so much for reaching out to us. Congratulations on your big day." Done a little bit about Felicity Moments, and then it says, "Hey, if you would like to book a time to speak to Tristan or Natanya about your special day, here are some of the available times, or click this link to reserve your 20-minute free consultation." So that's a way of really being able to minimize the amount of time you spend doing emails, because I hate emails just as much as you hate emails, because I want to be creative, right? This is for creative professionals. So we try to automate, if we can automate more of the professional side and then really put our energy into the things that we need to do for our business, we'll be happier as well. And then payment schedules. So you can create payment schedules based upon just normal, whatever schedule you want. You can say every 2 weeks, this is the schedule that I need for my payments, or every month or every 3 months, this client has to pay X amount of dollars, and you can create your customized template schedule. Right? So that's all there. I think I'm done. This is great. Oh, let me jump back. Let me jump back. Let me jump back. Let me jump back. Hey, let me go back to my scenes here. I can't see where my scenes are. Oh, there we go. All right. So, any questions? Any questions? I am done. I am done. Thank you so much for being just so amazing. Y'all are amazing. I mean, there's 6 people in here. You guys are learning something. You guys, I hope, are getting great value out of this. Please ask any questions that you have. Actually, I do have an answer to a question that was asked of me yesterday, the last live stream, and that was just to clarify if you could switch from an LLC to an incorporation. And now LLC is a structure that's in the United States, and in certain states it depends on what it is. With LLCs, you can create or transfer from an LLC to an incorporation. The caveat, though, is that you're taxed a little bit differently, and the structure has to be a little bit differently, and you're legislated slightly differently than in a corporation than an LLC. The protections are similar, though. That's something that I learned in my research. So if you want to get that link, I'll send that link to you. Let me jump back to some of these questions here. Let's see. Let me see here. Yes. Okay. So I just want to throw that out there. The previous videos are available. Thank you for that. They're going to be available in perpetuity. I leave them up. The only thing that's different about each video, it takes a little bit of time for me, is I have to put in all the points that I've gone through. I put them into the description area. So any sort of resources to links and to anything that I use to do my research for these live streams, I usually put them up in the description area. Okay. What else is here? That was great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. No problem. Thank you so much for that. What else? What else? That was amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Please let me know if you have any other questions at all. If you don't have any questions, I can go and feed my kids. But if you have questions, my kids, we got corned beef and stuff like that. We can just mix up something, Corned beef and rice, hey, it saves the day all the time. Listen, one last thing I'd like you to do before you guys leave this live, I want you to do something for me if you can. If you can either take a screenshot or you can share this link on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn. I have 2 more days of great live streams, of great information. Just for those that don't know what the next 2 live streams are going to be about, that tomorrow's live stream is going to be all about business accounts. It's all going to be about a banking business account. So like going to a banking institution, what are some of the advantages of having a checking account, having a savings account that are business related, having a line of credit, having just different products from banking institutions as entrepreneurs, as creative entrepreneurs. And then the last day is all about insurance. It's all about business insurance, travel insurance. It's all about life insurance. What happens if somebody gets injured that you hired? Do you have insurance for that to cover that? All of those things are really, really important. So please do share that these are coming up next. You guys want, what are the questions here? Sorry. Let me see here. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Well, great. Since you guys have no questions, thank you so much. Have an amazing day. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your patience with me as the technical difficulties at the beginning. But please tell more people about it. Share it in different Facebook groups, share it in different Instagram groups, and let people know, especially creative business professionals, that I'm here to serve them and help them, and that it's not just about being creative, but it's also about being business minded and knowing your rights and knowing all that you need to know as an entrepreneur. All right, listen, have a wonderful day. Peace.